Welcome to GrammarOnDemand.com. I'll be telling you about the past perfect. I'm going to tell you when you use this tense and how you can use it. So, when do you use this tense? When do you use past perfect? You use the past perfect when there are two events that have something to do with each other that have happened in the past. Now, it is important to know that these events did not happen at the same time. So they happened after each other. Now, one of the things that makes past perfect a little bit more difficult is that you most often use it in combination with the past simple. Now, the event that happened first gets past perfect. And you can make past perfect by with had plus a past participle. Now this means either a verb that ends on ed, or you get an irregular verb, which means that the past participle is always different. Now the event that has happened after that, the second event, gets past simple. Now that means either a verb plus ed or an irregular verb. Let's look at some examples, because this is probably still very vague. Let's look at some examples. You can see in the timeline that two things have happened. The first event is that the house has, well, unfortunately I must say, burned down. And the second event is that you've called the fire department. Now, what do you get? The house had already burned down when we called the fire department. Now, the first event, the house had already burned down. You can see you get had plus burn plus ed. So had burned, that's the past perfect. Now, called, the second event, that's past simple. It's simply verb plus ed. It's the same thing in the second sentence. The swimming pool had closed when Peter arrived. The first event is the swimming pool, which had closed. And you can see you get had plus a verb plus ed. And arrived is the second event, so that gets past simple, verb plus ed. After she had done the dishes, she watched television. Well, had done, that's past perfect. And the second event gets past simple, watched. Now, what is the most common mistake that you can make? Well, let's take a look at the first sentence. It's the same sentence as before. The house had already burned down when we called the fire department. Now, let's switch these two events in the sentence. We called the fire department when the house had already burned down. Now you can see it's exactly the same sentence, but the two events are in a different order. Now, is this sentence still correct? Yes, it is. Now, the most common mistake you can make is that you use the order in which the events come in the sentence, that you use that order for past perfect and past simple. But really, when you turn these events around in the sentence, nothing has changed in the timeline. Now, the important thing is that you always maintain the order that you have in the timeline. So the times don't change when the order in the sentence is changed. That's the most common mistake, that you think that the order in the sentence might make a difference, but it doesn't. It's the same thing with the second sentence. The swimming pool had closed when Peter arrived. When Peter arrived, the swimming pool had closed. You can see that had closed and arrived, they stay exactly the same, because the timeline hasn't changed. The order in the sentence has changed, yes, but that doesn't matter at all. And of course, it's the same thing with the last sentence. After she had done the dishes, she watched television. She watched television after she had done the dishes. Nothing changes. Past perfect and past simple, they stay the same. So this is the most common mistake that you can make. So I've told you about the past perfect. I've told you when you can use this tense and how you can use it. For more videos and exercises, please visit grammarondemand.com, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video, and check out other videos if you like. If you have any comments, just leave them in the box below.